Lady Churro here, and welcome back to my Queendom of Random, where all fandoms are welcome. I hope that's my actual catchphrase of this channel. I'll have to go back and look at that headcanon video where I said it. Anyway, but yeah, I'm in a different place. I don't know why I keep recording in a different place. I just do. I just do. Mainly because I just don't like being stuck back in my room. Also, my room is kind of messy. So, I'm out here on my couch because I feel like for what we're gonna do, we should be comfy. Even though what it is, it's drama. So what I'm going to do, with the exception of yesterday, for the entire month of December, yes, even past Christmas, because I know not all y'all celebrate Christmas, up until New Year's, I'm going to try. I will really try. I will try to read a fanfic every day. One fanfic will stay consistent, and because it is 16 chapters, and there's 4 weeks in a month, so I'll read that. So I'll read that fanfic once a week, and everything else will be different fanfics or something from fanfics I found and fanfics people have commented it. So, yeah. Oh my god. It's insane. But I did a video before this. I almost forgot. I'm like, did I do a video before this? Anyway. So, yeah, I missed yesterday, but that's because I was tired. You can guess I got a job, so I was tired. I work in retail, so I deal with people, and people can exhaust anyone. And I work with people like 7 to 8 hours a day for about 5 days a week. So I need to take a day, but I wasn't gonna let myself take more than a day because I was like, I'm committed to it. So I need to do it, and I wasn't gonna delay it by one more day. Although I did wait late in the day today to do it, but that's besides the point. Let's get on to some fanfics. I'll be honest, this fanfic that's going to be read once a week is my own. I will admit to that. But I am reading it because I'm really proud of this fanfic. It's one of my first long-term fanfics that I finished. So I'm very proud of it. I started it back in 2017. I just finished it beginning of this year. So, yeah, I'm proud of this fanfic. But yeah, it's called Forbidden Love on fanfiction.net if you want to actually go and find it and read it yourself. I go by the name of Lady Churro 2054. So, there you go. You can read it on your own if you so choose, if you don't want to listen to me read it, because I will guarantee this, I'm going to botch a lot of accents, and I'm going to try my very hardest not to sound racist. because I do have this is Hetalia, so I got almost everyone all over the world in this fanfic. So I'm going to try my hardest not to sound racist. I apologize if that's what happens. But yes, I'm going to read the summary, and then we're going to jump right on into this. And this is going to be a long video again, because this fanfic I wrote is 16 chapters, and I need to read 4 chapters in one video. So we're in it for the long haul. The summary of this story, which, I'll be honest, does not summarize it very well considering what turn I took this fanfic. Erica is an animal shapeshifter and wants to join a special group of knights called the Cardinal Warriors. One problem, though. Women aren't allowed to join. So with the help of her good friend Ned, she dresses up as a man and joins the Warriors. She ends up getting paired with a powerful wizard named Lucas. Erica has to be a good partner while concealing her actual gender. Yeah. To clarify, I did gender bend some characters in the series, so I will clarify who is gender bend, who is not, as the story goes on, because I kind of forgot who was gender bend and who was not. Right off the bat, the main character is Erica, and that's female Denmark. So there you go. It's a DenNor fanfic because I went through a DenNor phase when I started this. So hey, DenNor's still valid. Anyway, let's jump right on in this. In a far-off land known as the Cardinal Countries, there were 4 kingdoms, each named after the 4 cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. Across the countries, many mythical creatures and, of course, no humans. Was it lived? I don't know if I said that. But lots of creatures that lurked in the mountains and forests weren't always friendly. In order to combat against them and protect innocent lives, the government established a group of warriors to fight them off. A special selection of fighters called the Cardinal Warriors. The group as a whole consisted of two-person teams, 1 wizard and 1 animal shapeshifter. But there was 1 cat. Despite the power of their strength, women weren't allowed to join, as gender equality wasn't a thing in their world. But one woman was determined to break that trope, in secret, obviously. Her name was Erica Kohler, 19 years old, short of wavy blonde hair, and large blue eyes. She was taller than most girls, but she was quick on her feet and could handle just about any type of weapon a man could. She could handle just about any type of weapon a man could. But weapons meant nothing to her, as she came from a long line of animal shapeshifters, dragon shapeshifters to be exact. So she would be a great asset to that Cardinal Warriors, as dragon shapeshifters were rare. She was a girl. Women and girls were treated as sex toys and baby ovens, just seen as weak and almost useless. And I'm sorry if that sounds offensive or anything, but in this story, it is a very not equal society. I can't think of the term for it, but yeah, it's not a very balanced society. Like it says right here, gender equality wasn't a thing in their world most of the time. There are exceptions in the story, but so I'm sorry if that offends anyone. Reading back on that, I can understand how that would offend people, but relax, is just a part of their world. It's not okay, but it's just part of their world. Alright. Erica wouldn't fall into that life. So thanks to one of her guy friends who was a part of the Cardinal Warriors, she was able to train with other rookies and newbies joining the Warriors. You owe me big, Erica. Don't worry, Ned. I promise to make it up to you. Erica was changing for the day with her Cardinal Warrior friend in his cabin. Ned was a tall, well-built man with dirty blonde hair and pale green eyes. His hair was usually sticking up in a point that defied gravity, but kept its shape and less wet. Now let me tighten that. Ned walked up to the blonde girl and took over wrapping the cloth around her cleavage. He suddenly pulled it tighter. This caused Erica to cringe and shoot him a glare. Do you mind? I already have to bind my chest to disguise myself as a guy. But I like my breasts, thank you very much. I'd like to nurse my future children one day. Erica hissed venomously. Ned ignored her and pulled one more time before securing it. Erica, you have very defined breasts. The point is to not be discovered. So I need you to look as manly as possible. He rolled his eyes. But what if I need to bathe and then put it back on? Wait, let me fix it. But what if I need to bathe and put it back on? Erica countered and tugged on her red tunic, as well as some brown pants, darker brown boots, and a tan belt. Be happy. I sewed a cloth that will button and unbutton for something just like that. Ned cracked a small smirk and tossed her a beige cloth. The blonde girl pouted and stuck her tongue out at her friend. I hate you. Why must you always solve the issue? She muttered. I'm your best friend, that's why. I make sure you don't do nothing stupid. Ned snickered and ruffled up her hair. Alright, let's go meet your partner. Be cool around him. This guy is not one for jokes or foolhardiness. Relax, my partner is monotone. Oh, wait. Really? My partner's a monotone stick in the mud? Erica whined as he headbutted his chest. Why do you torture me like this? Ned rolled his eyes and gently pushed her off him. You've been paired up with him because of your varying personalities. You're supposed to balance each other out. Erica pouted and poked his cheek. He better not be too much of my opposite or else I'll fall for him. And that would compromise my disguise because then I want to flaunt my boobs. You're so immature. You're no fun. Erica silently followed Ned through the camp. The Cardinal Warriors had a base in a small grassy area of the forest closest to the Northern Kingdom. The girl looked around at the variety of men scattered around the camp. She was trying her hardest to keep a straight face. Being serious was never her strong suit. Ned had to smack her upside the head and pull her along. Rika, focus. Don't stare, make eye contact just yet. He held onto her wrist. You are Matthias Kohler, a dragon shapeshifter from a village based at the bottom of the Eastern Mountains. All of that is true aside from my gender, Erica muttered, tossing some hair out of her face. Just shut up until you meet your partner. Ned groaned and tugged her along. The dirty blonde led her into a small cabin near the edge of the camp and close to the trees. Oh god, you know right. Who enters my personal space? A bored voice spoke softly. That was followed by a yawn. It's Ned Peters. I came to deliver your new partner to you. Ned nudged Erica forward. With the sound of 2 finger snaps, a few candles lit up the room. A blond man walked up to Erica. He was a head shorter than her. Hi. Oh wait, no. Wrong hi. Hi, I am Matthias Kohler. It's a pleasure to meet you. Erica smiled sheepishly. The young man looked her up and down. Charmed. I'm Lucas Bondiver. He spoke solemnly. This man, or Lucas, had straight blonde hair with blue-violet colored orbs. He wore a silver cross-shaped pin in his hair. As for his clothes, Lucas was dressed in a long white sleeve shirt with the blue vest, black pants, and brown boots. He also wore a black cloak with a hood. What kind of animal shapeshifter are you? Lucas questioned. I'm a dragon shapeshifter. My family is one of a couple bloodlines that has the dragon blood. Erica walked back and forth on the heels of her boots. Lucas paused for a long moment. Really? You must be strong, powerful. You're probably more about brute strength, aren't you? He raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I'm more act first and think later. Erica blushed, rubbing the back of her neck. Lucas squinted his eyes at her. You look very feminine, Matthias. He held up his right hand and jabbed Erica's forehead. This made Erica panic. Did he already see through her disguise? Ned noticed her distress and put a hand on her shoulder. Matters naturally kind of looks like a girl. Should you really be talking, pretty boy? Ned scoffed. Lucas glared daggers at the taller man. Just shut up, Nathaniel. Go find Matthew, leave me alone to get to know my new partner that you were so nice to bring by. Lucas spat. Fine, be that way, Lucas. Ned smirked. Lucas snorted and flipped the dirty blonde off while said insulted man waltzed out of the cabin. Lucas focused his attention back on Erica. So, what do you want to do now? Erica bit her lip and twiddled her thumbs. Lucas gave her a tiny smirk. Well, I did say I wanted to get to know my new partner, so sit down and make yourself comfortable. We got a lot to talk about, hotshot. His tone only made Erica shudder and swallow thickly. Why did she suddenly feel very terrified? Now, that's the end of chapter 1. Also, I promise I will not talk this much while reading the story. I was just figuring out the accents, and plus I got a message from a friend. In the middle of recording, of course. Erica and Lucas sat awkwardly in the middle of the cabin. Erica rubbed her hands together nervously, while Lucas just stared at her. Neither one of them were taking a chance to speak or break the tense silence. The woman took a deep breath when her partner held up a hand. Tell me about yourself, Matthias. We're partners, and building trust is very essential to a stable relationship, romantic or platonic. So tell as many details of your life as you can think of. Keep no secrets from me. Lucas said in a very demanding way. Yeah, no secrets. It's easier said than done, Erica thought sarcastically. A taller blonde cleared her throat. Well, I was born and raised in a village at the bottom of the eastern mountains. We're known for creating a variety of weapons to take down dangerous creatures, as well as our handiwork with winter clothing. I grew up with no siblings, but I had a lot of friends who were basically family. My two closest friends are Ned, or Nathaniel as you call him, and a sweet but deadly little blonde girl named Tina. Coincidentally, we're all the same age, although our varying height differences would probably say otherwise. Tina looks like a child compared to Ned and me. Despite being a shapeshifter, I can use a lot of different weapons, but I guess that shouldn't be too surprising, considering that weapons are what my hometown is known for. What else? Oh yeah, I'm an outstanding baker, according to my mother. I make some of the best bread and sweet baked goods you've ever tasted. Erica smiled more and more as she spoke. She blushed as she saw Lucas listening rather intently, more than she thought he would. One last thing. Why did you become a Cardinal warrior? Lucas asked curiously. Seeing how you and Ned interacted during training, as well as how you describe your life, you seem a little too soft and cheery to me. I feel as if I should... Oh, crap. Here we go. Seeing how you and Ned interacted during training, as well as how you're describing of your life, you seem a little too soft and cheery to be part of a group that's known for slaughtering bloodthirsty creatures. Erica gulped and thought for a moment before her eyes lit up. This may sound cheesy and unoriginal, but I joined because I wanted to protect the ones I care about and my hometown. They've all been so good to me. I feel like as if I should repay the favor. Something like that. Lucas let her reasoning wash over him for a couple minutes, letting his hand touch and fiddle with the crosspin in his hair. Then he looked up at her with an unreadable expression. If I'm being honest, it's the most reasonable explanation I've ever heard. Most are just here to impress women or because joining this group is a family tradition. Lucas looked up at the ceiling of the cabin. I joined for the same reason you did. I wanted to protect my little brother from harm. Erica smirked. So, you're going to tell me about yourself? You said it yourself. Being honest does build trust. She put a finger to his forehead. The same way she and Ned showed affection. Lucas shrugged his shoulders and looked up at her. I guess that's fair. Or should I start? I guess where I came from. I came from a village in a plateau sandwiched between two mountains, right on the edges of the northern and eastern mountain range, in the corner, if that makes more sense. We grow and trade a lot of different things, such as fruit, veggies, and herbs. It's a very successful village, having been built along a river. As for my family, my parents married young. which resulted in a huge age difference between my brother and I. I'm 20 and he's 9. I'm 20 and he's 10. But we were both accidents. My father never wanted kids to begin with, but only caved in for my mother. I never liked the man. I'd save my mother and my brother, but not him. I would leave him to die, as if I would care if he died. I'd be more happy than sad. But luckily, like yourself, I did have friends to escape to whenever I couldn't deal with my father. 2 boys named Arthur and Vladimir. Arthur is a blonde with green eyes. Vladimir has light brown hair with reddish hazel eyes. They're my best friends. It was heart-wrenching when I had to leave my village to come and head to the Northern Kingdom to train and perfect my magic. Both had little siblings to take care of, as both had lost their parents. Lucas had reacted the opposite while staring his past. His face was blank of emotion, but his eyes said something completely different. His eyes were full of sadness. Erica so badly wanted to hug Lucas. He looked so sad. So the tall female decided to change the topic before she did something really girly. So what are Arthur and Vladimir like? They must be something special if you consider them family, Erica asked sheepishly. Lucas perked up. Well, Arthur's a lot like me, except he's a bit more expressive with his emotions and rather grumpy. Vladimir is the most outgoing between the 3 of us. He's always cheery, outgoing, and loud. Very loud. Despite that, though, he's the best at keeping secrets. Lucas explained, his mood seeming to lighten a little. That's nice to hear. They sound like good and loyal friends. Erica put on a sincere grin to cheer him up. She might have not known him for very long, but she already knew that she didn't like to see him cry. After chatting for a little bit in the cabin, Erica and Lucas went for a walk in the forest. So you're a wizard? Erica blinked. No, I'm a vampire. Of course I'm a wizard. Lucas rolled his eyes. Anyway, I keep hearing about different ranks of wizards. Care to explain that to me, please? Erica asked curiously. Lucas cleared his throat. There are 5 rankings of wizards. D, C, B, A, and Elite. A wizard's ranking is based on the amount of power they have, the amount of spells under their belt, and how much control they have over their magic. A rank D is the lowest ranking, and Elite is obviously the highest. I'm a rank A wizard. It is pretty fitting that a dragon shapeshifter is paired with a high-ranked wizard. He gave a thorough explanation while hanging upside down for a tree branch. The tall blonde blinked and rubbed the back of her neck. Holy shit, that is so complicated and tedious. She exasperated, let down a long sigh. While only the best wizards are allowed into the Cardinal Warriors, they need to be able to protect all 4 kingdoms. Lucas shrugged, interacting with a small green pixie. The pixie cooed, but darted off. The shorter man paused and listened to his surroundings. Erica looked around before hearing a loud roar, much like a giant cat. It sounds like it's coming from... Erica spoke slowly before going into panic mode. The camp! She gasped. Let's go before the creature causes too much damage, Lucas ordered, and jumped out of the tree and rushing off. Erica quickly followed, trying her best to keep up with him. When they got back to the base, a large tan cat was causing trouble. A young blonde adolescent boy commanded Ned, who shapeshifted into a black wolf, and attempted to fight off the beast. Oh no, Lucas! What should we do? Erica gulped and looked to Lucas for help. Lucas glared at Erica. What do you think, Hotshot? Magic is useless against this beast. I need you to shapeshift, right now, he snapped. Erica thought for a moment, before Lucas groaned, smacking her upside the head and shoving her forwards. The tall blonde stopped thinking and shapeshifted into a large red dragon. Her and Ned worked together to fight off the large cat, but not without getting injured. When the 2 changed back into the human forms, Ned and Erica sustained many large cuts on their bodies. The adolescent blonde ran over to Ned. Hey Ned, are you okay? He panicked, kneeling by Ned. Ned grunted and grasped the boy's shoulder. Matthew, calm down. Just help me up and back to our cabin, he coughed. The adolescent nodded and pulled the taller male to his feet, carefully taking him back to their cabin. Erica sat up and immediately collapsed. God Damn it, these wounds are deep. This is why I hate to be in a shapeshifter. You still sustain the wounds on your human body. She muttered. Lucas grabbed her arm and threw it over her shoulder. Come on, Matthias. Get on your feet so it'll be easier for me to drag you back to our cabin, he huffed. Erica gripped his shoulder and forced herself onto her feet. From there, the two trudged back to the cabin. Lucas managed to lay her down on a bed. Okay, your wounds look really bad. I'm going to have to remove your clothes to treat them properly. I promise to mend them back together. Lucas was in doctor mode. Erica was a bit out of it, so she just nodded, not really comprehending what he was doing. Not until he cut through her tunic and her binding. Erica gazed up at his face, curious why his face was bright red, but she quickly figured it out and attempted to cover her cleavage. It was a useless effort, as he already saw, and her wounds were painful. She only hissed softly in agony and flopped back onto the bed. I'm sorry. I was not this with you. She felt lightheaded. She heard Lucas call it her fake name before everything went dark around her. That's 2 chapters down. 2 to go.